All right. Let's address this Judge Hannah Dugan. Judge Hannah Dugan is a Milwaukee judge that had Flores Ortiz, she's a criminal court judge in Milwaukee. That one of her defendants, Flores Ortiz, I believe his name was actually in front of her for one of a dozen or so, whatever it is, in normal days of docket of cases. And I showed up apparently to pick up this defendant, which is legitimate. This is a legitimate thing. There was a thing a long time ago called the honey pot, that was done where there was a bunch of criminal like arrest warrants out. Like the sting operation basically fed the egos and the arrogance of these people and invited them to a special like football game or some event. I think it was a football game. So as all these people showed up with specific stuff with their name on it, basically identifying them, they had to go through a registration process, confirming their identity and everything else. And when they showed up for this thing, they basically ended up getting arrested in this mass arrest. People dressed as waiters, people dressed as ticket agents. I mean, it was a big operation. So when you're looking at all of that stuff and you see something like this judge in Milwaukee trying a case in her regular docket, just her everyday basic stuff, and ICE agents come in and they want to arrest someone on your docket. She said you can't do that in my courtroom. Do it outside, which is legitimate because when you have something like that inside of a courtroom, it gives people an excuse not to show up for their court dates. It gives criminals, actual criminals, and this guy was an actual criminal apparently, allegedly. So yes, this falls under the preview of what was promised back in the day before the election of what he was going to do with his immigration. This is the type of person that he was supposed to be, deporting. So good chalk one up for them. But where they screw up is their arrogance and their egos. Because what they did was they turned it into an elementary school, mean girl type of bitch fest thing that Donald Trump loves to do. He loves to be petty. He loves to be assholes about it. So he had them basically disrupt her court day. And as a judge, that's very, very sacred to judges. If you know any personally, you'll know that. And having the government do that is an extra FU because that's supposed to be people on their team. Anyway, she basically opened a side door, did their business, did the day how they were supposed to, and basically said you could leave through that door. And they were picked up immediately, as they should have been. And this was a choice that was made consciously. This was a choice that was made consciously when the agents decided to go to a courtroom to pick somebody up. They go through metal detectors. They go through all the stuff you have to go through to get into a county office. So this criminal, no matter who it was, no matter Pablo Escobar, whatever the hell, would have already gone through metal detectors. Literally, they could stand outside all the exits and just wait for him to walk the hell out, which is what the judge said they should do from the beginning. Well, she didn't. She told them to walk outside. Quicker these people get out of my courtroom, this danger's over, my day goes on. So she didn't do anything wrong. Well, apparently she's a real badass judge and a no bullshit judge and clean record, good record, and civil servant for a long time. Well, she's fighting back, and her team filed. No charges were filed, by the way. She was arrested. She was thrown in handcuffs that day. They did a perp walk. They did a whole photo shoot press thing because the Trump show has to have the highlight reel. Don't forget, we're dealing with a Trump show here. We're not dealing with a normal presidency or a normal human being. We're dealing with a petty trust fund baby that exploded into power. So when you're looking at this whole thing and you look at a deliberate spectacle like that, that's marketing. That's feeding the red meat to his sheeple. And then you have Kristi Noem and Kash Patel, like some meme of Kristi Noem throwing a pitch, and the pitch being this judge, this Democrat judge, and Cash Patel catching as she's getting in handcuffs, perp walk, all that other shit. That sends a message, and that's what fear-mongering, hate-mongering assholes do when they have power. That's what bullies do when they have power, is they try and make a message, make a example out of somebody, to send messages to all the other judges as if they rule against the Trump people. Your life's going to become hell. That's the petty bullshit. That's the way that he's always been his entire life, with everything he can, with the weapons he had in his arsenal. Now he has a couple more. But this judge's paperwork, and this judge had no criminal charges filed, none at all, and cited as case reference in her filings, a judge, the Trump versus United States case where Trump was given immunity, and also cited that judges, just by way of their job, are given judicial immunity. So she not only checkmated his ass in public after this big Trump show PR stunt, as he's collecting his $400 million jet from Qatar and all this other shit from all these other countries, and planning his Trump golf courses and resorts in every single country he's visited. There's about a dozen of them discovered this week. That's what you need to understand. This judge shoved his immunity up his ass, to the point where if they take any steps to prosecute this judge because of the precedent she just set with her filings, his immunity from the Supreme Court would disappear if they pursued it further. That, my friends, is the ultimate checkmate. When I said from the beginning that these stars will rise, that people are in power, that are doing the right thing and will make the pressure and will file what needs to be filed to stop the progress of this shit, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Their ego can't stop them from continuing to do stupid, illegal shit in public, which means they're bound to get caught in these types of situations. And judges like her, that know the law, that are good at their job, that are defending their job, will shove it up their ass in a way that it could be used as a defense for anyone else they mess with. And that is what she's doing. This happens to Trump a lot. So that if you look at the big picture and all the things that were shoved up Trump's ass from people fighting back. Hi, Jack. You'll notice that 140-something executive orders, 75% of them, if not more, were shot down in courts and not possible, illegal, or whatever, for whatever reason. It's all part of the show. The photo ops, the memes, are professionally, well, somewhat professionally done, are part of the show. They're part of the marketing material that gets distributed on every social media platform around the world by the bots, by the farms, by the blind sheeple with the red hats. Because remember, with Trump, rule number one, directly from Roy Cohn, is deny everything, lie loudly, repeat it over and over again, and it'll become the truth for those stupid enough to believe it. They're easy to find. They're marked. So, ladies and gentlemen, as this bully is getting bitch slapped by a wonderful, another wonderful civil servant, recognize we are all in this together. And as he's getting bitch slapped and the Supreme Court tells him he can no longer deport people from an 1800s law, and things like that, his own Supreme Court, his Congress people, his senators that have been with him side by side everywhere, can't justify his actions anymore, and they're jumping ship. recognize that everyone is falling away from him, and he will eventually screw everyone over to the point where the ramifications will come. So have faith, ladies and gentlemen. Stop getting stressed out. And understand, we are all in this together. So stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. God bless.